You've been lied to since childhood, told that goodness alone wins power, that if you simply stay kind and work hard, the world will notice. But deep down, you've sensed the cracks, haven't you? The real winners don't just play the game. They rewrite the rules while pretending to follow them. And tonight, for the first time, you're going to see the invisible architecture those people live by, the forbidden rules of influence all-powerful people quietly obey. Pause for a second and look at your own life. Every promotion you didn't get, every relationship where someone subtly pulled strings you didn't even see, those weren't accidents. Influence was in that room. It always is. Influence is the hidden current beneath every conversation, every negotiation, every screen swipe that tells you what's popular. The civil smiles, the viral trends, the supposedly spontaneous decisions, they're choreographed dances performed by people who understand something you were never taught. Perception is reality, and control of perception is control of reality itself. Write this in the comments if you dare. I choose to see beneath appearances. Because once you do, you'll notice how effortlessly false humility can mask decisive dominance, how softness of tone can be sharper than a blade. You'll see that power isn't cruelty, it's clarity weaponized. The first unspoken rule is that visibility is nothing without mystery. Power doesn't shine under every spotlight. It flickers at the edges, forcing people to wonder, what aren't they showing me? The more others guess your intentions, the more they revolve around them. It's the gravitational psychology of uncertainty. In meetings, in dating, in digital presence, the quietly powerful always leave gaps, strategic silences that others rush to fill. Because silence, when purposeful, becomes the loudest voice. Consider the influencer who rarely explains their moves, who vanishes when trends explode and returns just as the cycle shifts. Followers call it intuition, but it's discipline. They manage attention by refusing to be predictable. You can do the same. Next time you feel the urge to over-explain, breathe, and withhold half a sentence. Notice how people lean forward mentally. Mystery is not deceit, it's mental oxygen. The second hidden law merges with the first like smoke. Control emotion, project emotion, but never reverse the order. The average person leaks emotional energy like a cracked battery. They vent, overshare, and misread their own moods. The powerful don't suppress emotion, they sculpt it. Think of an actor walking through real life aware of their expressions as raw currency. Anger timed correctly becomes authority. Calm under chaos becomes mythic. Repeat this now. My emotions serve me. They do not steer me. That's not coldness, that's sovereignty. The third truth slips even deeper into darkness. Humans are addicted to the illusion of choice. Offer two paths that both secretly lead to your objective, and you are no longer requesting, you are designing their consent. Politicians do it with policy drafts. Brands do it with limited options that fuel desire through scarcity. You can do it ethically, guide outcomes by structuring environments rather than manipulating minds. Want your team to act faster? Don't tell them to hurry. Compress the timeline visually. Make deadlines physical. Choice becomes motion. Everything becomes a psychological stage if you're awake to it. The fourth essential trait of the powerful is studying human insecurity like a cartographer studying uncharted seas. Every person fears something: obscurity, failure, rejection, not being enough. To influence ethically is to soothe those fears before they erupt. When you validate someone's unspoken insecurity without naming it, they feel safety they can't explain. And that gives your voice gravity. This is what magnetic leaders do in seconds. A glance that says, "I see you." A pause that allows the other to rise. Influence built on empathy isn't weakness, it's precision compassion. And yet, here's the paradox that keeps the unethical trapped. Power rooted only in charm collapses. That's the fifth pattern. Reputation is a shadow shorter than truth. Eventually, the room learns who fakes results and who builds them. So every whisper of manipulation must anchor back to substance. Work quietly, deliver monstrously, then package results with emotional punctuation, not babble. Imagine the difference between saying, "I think it worked," and saying, after a pause, "It's already working." The latter contains conviction, a transferable certainty people crave. They don't follow data, they follow belief that feels tangible. Now, before you drown in tactics, remember this pulse beneath them all. Every forbidden rule begins with awareness of human predictability. If you want to break free of manipulation, you must study it as thoroughly as a doctor studies disease. There's no immunity without exposure. So watch the world. The subtle cadence of a boss lowering their voice to assert dominance. The friend using self-deprecation to disarm criticism. The sale that ends tonight, even though restocks are planned. Once seen, patterns lose power. That's the sixth law. Observation is liberation. You can't be controlled by what you can analyze. Write this in the comments. I study behavior, not excuses. Notice how even that pronouncement alters your posture as you say it. It reprograms self-concept, because the moment you see social reality as a system rather than chaos, your anxiety drops. Systems can be navigated. The seventh insight flows from the oldest psychological paradox. People forgive self-interest if you make them feel included in it. The powerful rarely hide their motives. They frame them as collective wins. Help me reach this milestone so we all grow. Join my vision, it's our revolution. The ethical version is generosity with visible self-benefit. You let people witness your ambition without pretending it's charity. Paradoxically, that honesty builds deeper trust than fake sainthood. The final unspoken discipline weaves them all together. Withdraw attachment from outcomes, but worship momentum. The powerless wait for perfect timing. The powerful create motion and adjust mid-flight. They know perception rewards momentum more than precision. You can stumble publicly, even fail. If you continue forward with coherent energy, people will reinterpret mistakes as myth. We're hypnotized not by perfection, but by persistence crowned with calm. And now you begin to see why so few are taught these things. Because a population fluent in psychological power is ungovernable by fear. The systems that profit from your confusion depend on your emotional reactivity. But once you practice these 8 invisible maneuvers, mystery, emotional mastery, designed choice, empathetic prediction, substance over show, observational detachment, transparent ambition, and relentless momentum, you outgrow the manipulation matrix. You become the quiet architect behind your own destiny. Sit with that. Picture yourself walking through tomorrow, guided by awareness instead of approval. The smile you'll wear then is not pride, it's recognition. And yet, there's a final veil to lift, because the deepest rule is one even the powerful often forget. It's buried beneath their strategies, like a dormant voltage waiting to ignite your transformation.
Power shifts the second you stop chasing validation and start orchestrating perception. That shift doesn't roar, it hums beneath your every gesture. You can almost feel it the moment you stop explaining yourself and start observing how others scramble to interpret your silence. Influence is not the weapon you pick up, it's the field you generate. And the moment you generate it consciously, you step out of the crowd's trance. Look around. People are exhausting themselves, competing for a spotlight that blinds them. The forbidden rule they've missed is this: attention is not the same as authority. True authority doesn't require applause. It creates gravitational pull. Every powerful person you've ever admired understood this distinction instinctively. They didn't beg for validation, they curated context. They understood that humans don't seek truth first. They seek emotional comfort disguised as truth. When you supply that comfort, even momentarily, they trust you more than logic. That is why facts alone never persuade. Tone, pace, and timing forge belief. The world is full of correct people who are powerless because they are tone-deaf to how truth must feel before it is accepted. Write this in the comments. I care how truth feels. It reprograms your instinct, aligning you with how narrative manipulates collective memory. Think of the storylines we repeat online, the scandals, movements, brands that rise from rumor into religion. They don't grow through reason, they flourish through rhythm, shared emotional pacing. That's the same rhythm you must learn to conduct at microscale, in personal influence. When you walk into a room, you're broadcasting a frequency of expectation. If you appear curious but unafraid, even adversaries begin to anticipate your composure. The seventh sense of the powerful is anticipation. They engineer others' expectations by managing their own rhythm. Speak slower when tension thickens, act faster when doubt spreads. You become their metronome, their calibration point amid chaos. It's manipulation only if you do it unconsciously or for harm. Done consciously, it's leadership. That emotional regulation becomes contagion. Mirror neurons follow your breath before your words. There's a reason ancient leaders entered battle calm-faced. Followers borrow their heartbeat. Practice this in mundane life. Calm your tone when others rush. The contrast alone will multiply your presence without a single extra syllable. The second layer of influence hiding in plain sight is selective vulnerability. The myth says the powerful never show weakness. False. The skilled display weakness as choreography. They choose which flaw to reveal to humanize themselves, never the flaws that threaten their authority. This is psychological aikido, using disclosure to absorb suspicion. A CEO admits nervousness about a new market, but never doubt about competence. A politician tears up at a national tragedy, but never trembles before rivals. You can use this ethically. Share fragments of imperfection to establish relatability while guarding the sanctum of self-belief. People need to trust both your humanity and your hierarchy of confidence. If you hide everything, they distrust your mask. Reveal everything, they doubt your center. Calibrate transparency like lighting, just enough to illuminate, never enough to blind. Repeat quietly to yourself, I decide which versions of me the world earns. It's not deception, it's stewardship. The next invisible architecture is the control of narrative framing. Whoever defines context defines meaning. The world isn't divided into winners and losers, it's divided into narrators and characters. The moment you describe what's happening, you shift from being an actor in life's play to being its editor. When gossip spreads about you, never deny, redefine. That's one interpretation, you say, voice steady, but the interesting part is what that reveals about their expectations. Instantly, the spotlight pivots from accusation to curiosity. The powerful aren't obsessed with defending themselves, they're obsessed with directing attention. This is why framing matters more than facts, because humans remember stories, not spreadsheets. In your daily arguments or professional pitches, practice reframing every blow as an insight. Someone calls you manipulative? You smile. I prefer observant. The room reconsiders the label because you offered a stronger frame. That is influence at its cleanest, turning threat into theater. But every Machiavellian truth hides a moral undertow, and here it is. Power measured only by control decays into paranoia. Awareness without compassion eventually isolates its wielder. So as you master observation, master empathy twofold. Read micro-expressions, but also the exhaustion behind them. Listen for pattern, but also for pain. Detachment without heart breeds cynicism, and cynics, though clever, never inspire loyalty. Influence that endures requires ethical ballast. Others must feel safer near your agency, not threatened by it. That paradox gives the powerful their serenity. They protect others' agency as in they direct environments. Practice that daily. Guide without erasing. Persuade without imprisoning. It will feel like balancing fire and glass, but that's the alchemy of true authority. Remember, these implicit laws don't replace morals. They reveal how morality competes in a strategic world. You cannot change the game's existence, only the principles guiding your play. Every conversation is a field of leverage, every silence an arena. The people who wake to this fact don't become cold, they become lucid. And lucidity, once earned, is irreversible. Write this one in bold somewhere you'll see tomorrow. I lead by design, not by demand. Future doors will answer to that frequency, because in this labyrinth of subtle games and psychological smoke, one realization emerges blindingly clear. The forbidden rules of influence were never truly forbidden. They were just veiled by the noise of moral panic and our own fear of standing unapologetically awake. And now that you see their outline, you can almost sense the next layer pulsing beneath, a revelation about how power migrates between people without a single word spoken.
Imagine walking through a crowded city street at rush hour, lights flickering on glass towers, voices blending into electronic noise, and realizing you can see the strings behind it all. You start noticing how a manager leans closer when complimenting a subordinate, how an influencer phrases a humble brag as gratitude, how a stranger's posture tilts subtly when they want acknowledgement but fear rejection. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the invisible currency exchange of psychology. Every glance a transaction, every word a contract written in invisible ink. The next tier of influence begins when you stop reacting to these contracts and start writing them yourself. It starts with attention placement. The masses chase attention they cannot sustain. The powerful direct attention like a laser. They understand that focus itself causes growth. Fixate public attention anywhere for long enough, and that subject thickens with value. Think of viral phenomena. Worth is bestowed by collective gaze, not intrinsic merit. So to master this rule ethically, you decide what your attention funds. Energy flows where observation goes. Stop financing chaos with your mind. Stop checking what offends you 15 times a day. Each view strengthens the very narrative that weakens you. Write this in the comments as a declaration. I invest my focus. That's not just a slogan, it's a steering mechanism for the mind. The next forbidden truth is mechanical, yet spiritual, the mirror effect. People feel connected to those who reflect their best self back to them. When a powerful person interacts, they act as a mirror that flatters without flattery. A subtle nod here, a reformulated sentence that validates understanding there. So you mean the project failed, but you learned the market. That reframing tells a person they're still the hero of their own story.
The manipulative use this to exploit, but the enlightened use it to heal, and in doing so, their influence multiplies. Because here's the secret. People aren't hungry for your greatness. They're starving for their own reflection inside your calm. Wield that knowingly, and you become magnetic. There's another dimension, scarcity signaling. Humans mistake scarcity for value because the brain equates effort with importance. That's why luxury brands ration supply, why mysterious acquaintances linger in our memory longer than those too available. But scarcity doesn't mean vanish completely. It means architecture accessibility. Make your time and attention units of meaning. Say less, answer later. Appear only when your presence adds contrast. The most dangerously magnetic people radiate self-containment. They're seen as complete worlds, not open vacancies begging to be filled. You can live that principle, not by arrogance, but by rootedness. Instead of proving your worth, behave as if it's self-evident. Watch how others adapt their tone to yours. That's not ego. That's energetic equilibrium being restored. Repeat to yourself, my presence is invitation enough. Each repetition reconfigures your nervous system from need to authority. The next psychological gear clicks into place, refracted morality. The powerful share one subtle belief. They know every action broadcasts moral storytelling. Even neutrality is interpreted, so they build symbolic consistency. Notice how a visionary CEO dresses the same daily. It signals discipline. How an activist uses minimal words, letting silence roar for them. It signals conviction. Humans interpret ritual as integrity. Design your rituals. Cut one habitual contradiction from your daily routine and watch stability rise like temperature in your aura. Don't preach character, pattern it. That pattern becomes the legend people tell about you when you're not in the room. Long before Machiavelli, mystics knew this as sacred symmetry. Now it's good PR. Still, at the core of the forbidden system is an even darker and more beautiful paradox. Detachment amplifies attraction. The more desperately you cling, the more energy you leak. The powerful appear as if they could walk away from anything, and that magnetizes. In a negotiation, the person least afraid to lose defines the terms. But detachment doesn't mean apathy. It's spiritual poise, the art of holding intensity lightly. Try this experiment tomorrow. Pick one need, validation, control, revenge, and release it for a day. Observe how clarity floods back. Detachment cuts emotional noise and leaves signal. From that stillness emerges a calm you can weaponize ethically. Others trust those who don't wrestle invisible wars within themselves. That calm is contagious. It stiffens spines and slows chaos, and it creates one of the rarest powers, discernment. In a world drunk on stimuli, discernment is the new dominance. Being able to tell what deserves a reaction and what deserves a smirk is evolutionary advantage. You start conserving psychological fuel while others run out of breath defending trivialities. Write this phrase somewhere visible. Not everything deserves my thunder. Say it like a monarch giving mercy, because that's what restraint really is, the ultimate flex. The final layer in this particular ascent is the alchemy of timing, knowing when to act and when to vanish. Momentum without timing is noise. Timing without courage is paralysis. The powerful unite both. They act during thresholds, moments when uncertainty peaks and others freeze. It's then that invisible empires are built, careers are reborn, loyalties rewritten. Watch world history. Every dominant figure surfed volatility while others waited for clarity. Waiting is just a slower form of surrender. Let rhythm teach you instead. Notice when the social climate trembles for novelty, when silence hangs begging to be filled. Then strike, but elegantly, like tapping a glass just enough to command the room. Your timing becomes your fingerprint. People will call it luck, never realizing its pattern recognition refined through deliberate attentiveness. Here lies the ethical obligation. When you see the pattern, use it to amplify collective sanity, not hysteria. Fear sells, but wisdom endures. The forbidden path must end in service, or it decays into manipulation porn. And service does not mean martyrdom. Service means using clarity to create stability for others. The paradox deepens. You build influence by restoring balance, because what the masses don't know, but you are starting to feel, is that true power is not domination, it's invisible protection. Yet one shadow remains, something few can handle without losing themselves. We're about to step into that shadow next, into the final doorway where visibility, secrecy, and morality collapse into something beyond strategy, a state the ancient tacticians called serene command.
It begins the moment you realize power stops being a costume you wear and becomes an atmosphere you emit. No gestures, no slogans, just presence that shapes outcomes before words form. Picture yourself entering a room where decisions hang unfinished. Suddenly, the air alters. People's eyes flicker, conversations tilt, agreements orbit closer to where you stand. That's not mysticism, that's neurological alignment. The mirror neurons of the group calibrate to whoever radiates coherence. Coherence is the rarest signal in a world of frantic noise. It comes from internal congruence. Your thoughts, speech, and body no longer contradict each other. The untrained mind leaks uncertainty. The trained one leaks gravity. Influence deepens when you stop rehearsing what to say and start embodying what you mean. Write this in the comments as a pact with yourself. I move in coherence. It turns confidence from a performance into oxygen. Here lies another forbidden principle. Those who lead perception also lead pace. Controlled tempo and emotion follows. Notice how a good storyteller slows during suspense, then drops questions like stones in water. The rhythm manipulates heartbeat itself. You can apply that in life. When negotiation grows tense, pause. Not defensive silence, but deliberate tempo control. The pause extracts hidden truths. When people rush to fill silence, they reveal desires. So pace isn't just rhythm, it's X-ray vision. And in your personal choreography of influence, mastering pace is mastering physiology. But the darker side of this power appears when you taste obedience too easily. People begin deferring. Doors open faster, charm converts to currency, and you forget the invisible cost. Every time you bend a will, that will remembers. Every unacknowledged submission breathes subterranean resentment, and resentment is rebellion incubating. History's tyrants fell not from external enemies, but from the grudges they underestimated. The antidote, the ethical alchemy, is reciprocity in dignity. When you leave someone feeling more capable after obeying you, they will defend you later. When you leave them feeling smaller, they will conspire. The powerful who last design victories where others win too, at least partly. Because while domination dazzles momentarily, collaboration perpetuates influence indefinitely. Remember this mantra: I gather allies, not subjects. Power that multiplies others outlives you. Power that hoards collapses when you blink. The next dimension of mastery is perception layering. You no longer operate on one stage. You manage several simultaneously. What's seen, what's sensed, what's overheard, and what's mythologized after you leave. Every gesture communicates across these planes. When you speak a truth publicly, what subtext does your tone deliver privately? When you walk away from an argument smiling, what rumor does that smile plant? Mastering this interplay resembles playing chess on 3 boards stacked vertically. Yet the point is not deception, it's orchestration of resonance. If your behavior communicates consistency across layers, faith builds. If you fracture across them, suspicion metastasizes. So harmonize your layers. Let the public persona echo your inner code. Let subtle mystery fill the gaps with curiosity rather than contradiction. That's how authority matures into legend. The next truth slices deeper. Power is relational electricity. It amplifies whoever touches it. That means surrounding yourself with clarity is non-negotiable. If you enter rooms of confusion, you absorb static. If you keep company with ambition dressed as kindness, you'll mistake flattery for loyalty. The wise audit their circles like engineers checking voltage. Remove those who drain conviction, not out of cruelty, but out of respect for trajectory. Because energy exchange is moral arithmetic. Generosity without discernment is self-betrayal disguised as virtue. Strategic compassion is the middle path between naivety and callousness. Stand at that equilibrium, and you become unmanipulable. You'll sense ulterior motives before words land because your own frequency is uncorrupted. Now let's confront the most frightening psychological frontier. Pull back from needing to be loved. The average person leaks oceans of energy, chasing invisible approval scores, likes, smiles, nods, validation disguised as connection. The truly powerful aren't rude. They're serenely independent of audience metrics. They understand that acceptance follows efficacy like a shadow follows light. First, you move the world. Then the world rationalizes that it loved you all along. Test it. Pursue competence for a month instead of approval, and measure the silence that suddenly respects you. The crowd's applause is fickle. Silence that listens is enduring worship. Repeat quietly. I earned silence that listens. That's not arrogance. That's ascension. The next forbidden layer is invisibility, strategic withdrawal. You vanish, not in defeat, but to reset perception. Mystery decays with overexposure. Absence resets scarcity. When you leave the stage at the peak, myth grows in your place. That myth will work while you rest. Modern society fears absence because it confuses quiet with irrelevance. But absence wielded consciously is leverage. Disappear long enough to refine substance. Return so sharp they mistake you for evolution itself. Even social algorithms cannot resist re-entry stories. They crave the comeback arc. You are writing your myth now. Intermissions give your legend space to breathe. The ethical mirror of this art is humility, the quiet remembrance that influence is leased, never owned. Gratitude stabilizes voltage. Each time you sense pride coagulating in your chest, grounded by acknowledging someone's unseen contribution. Gratitude converts power from static charge into usable current. Without it, illumination burns to ash. You might feel by now the subtle trembling within, the sense that power, empathy, timing, absence, gratitude are not separate rules but one rhythm of consciousness spiraling upward. Yet one veil remains. There is a state beyond even influence, a paradoxical peace where control and surrender fuse. Few enter it without crossing the inner storm of self-confrontation. It's where manipulation ends and mastery begins. And that's precisely where we're headed next, into the climax, where the self who learned these rules meets the self who no longer needs them.
And now the storm quiets. The masks, the games, the endless decoding of others, all of it resolves into a single mirror. You. You watching this, breathing a little slower now, because something ancient in you recognizes the truth. Power was never out there. It was the untuned instrument inside you, waiting for voltage. Every forbidden rule you've absorbed tonight, mystery, rhythm, scarcity, coherence, empathy, calm, timing, invisibility, they were never instructions to dominate, but translations of how life itself moves. Influence is not poison, it's alignment. Manipulation destroys when wielded in fear, but nourishes when directed by conscience. When you master these patterns ethically, you stop being a puppet or puppeteer. You become the hand that weaves balance. Remember the affirmation threading through every moment of this journey. I lead by design, not by demand. Say it aloud now. Feel the words vibrate in your throat like a tuning fork. That is the frequency of self-command. Notice how the world responds when you hold that note. Not louder, just purer. People lean in. Circumstances organize. Clarity feels magnetic because it is. That's the point our era forgets. Attention is sacred energy. Every like, every comment, every share is a ritual of focus that reshapes collective consciousness. If what you've heard tonight expanded your mind, feed that current outward. Hit the like button so the algorithm learns to surface content that awakens instead of numbs. Drop a comment below. Tell me which insight cracked your reality open most. Which rule changed how you'll move through tomorrow. When you write it, you anchor it. When you share it, you multiply clarity in a world that thrives on confusion. And if you want to stay grounded in this kind of psychological realism, intelligence that sharpens without cynicism, subscribe right now. Not as a favor, but as a declaration that you refuse to live half awake. That click is your signature under a personal oath to wield awareness ethically, to protect your mind from manipulation, to walk courageously among the sleeping without losing compassion. Because this channel, this space we're building, isn't mere entertainment. It's a training ground for lucid souls. The future belongs to those who can feel deeply, yet think precisely, who can study darkness and still choose light. You are one of them now. Breathe that in. Picture the wiser version of yourself standing in a doorway of mirrors, every reflection aligning at last. No masks, no fear. Just the calm authority of someone who knows exactly what they are doing with their own energy. The world will still test you, of course. It's supposed to. Influence is not baptism once. It's a discipline daily. But when you stumble, return to this moment, to this sentence pulsing like a hidden drumline beneath your ribs. Power begins where fear ends. You've crossed that threshold tonight. Welcome to the realm of lucid influence. Like, comment, subscribe, then go live as proof that mastery and mercy can share the same skin.